Good morning to everybody. How you doing? Hope all's well. Keep up the beautiful work. Today is Friday, Parashat Terumah. We're continuing the holy words of the Pele Yoetz. We are in the letter Chet in the subject of Hosser. What is lacking? There are people that think that nonsense is lacking. That's not lacking. Lacking is what we will put in this world to perfect. And some people aren't perfected yet. And we're a work in progress, and we gotta get there. Be'ezrat Hashem Barach. We are in the Hebrew book on page Ranu, Resh Nun Vav 256, and in the Hebrew English Art Scroll, volume 2, we are on page 268. Ubechen tzarich lahachzik tova. A person has to have appreciation, believe it or not. Verav Hina, Verav Hizda. That looks like rabbis' names in the Gemara, but the rabbi, as we always say, was very poetic. And his words are like diamonds, Baruch Hashem. And he tells us we have to have an abundant amount of thanks and chesed and gratitude. Now, obviously, there's a very fine line over here, because there are people out there far away in Neverland that unfortunately have a chip on their own shoulder, so they need to tell people certain things to show that they're something as well. Even further away than Neverland in synagogues, you have people telling people to be quiet, and I'm not 100% sure that it's for the sake of Hashem. Sometimes you have people yapping themselves, and then they like to tell people to be quiet, and then some people see a guy breathe, and they go charging him. You have to be quiet, it's the house of Hashem, embarrassing the guy. So obviously that's not the way to do it either. However, over here, the rabbi is telling us, those who are really close to you, and those who really care about you, and they give you a little something that we have to work on ourselves to fix, we have to be very appreciative. Reprimand the chacham, and he will love you. There is nothing greater than that. What a chesed it is. Of course, money is chesed. Helping those in need are chesed. Doing all the beautiful things that our community does. All the gorgeous organizations. Praying for people who need Refuah Shelemah. And with that included is everyone who needs Refuah Shelemah, including Yosef ben Nina, Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, Shekemo Sha'amru. But the rabbi tells us, what will we put in this world for? Not to live. Of course, we have to live, but we were put here to perfect ourselves, to work at ourselves. So the ultimate chesed is when someone helps you get to that point. Ki en lecha tova gedolah hemena, shekemo sha'amru, like our rabbis tell us in the Midrash, shamachti et havero has v'halila. If somebody makes another person sin, oseh lo ra'ah yoter min ha'orgo, it makes what he's doing to him is so bad, it's worse than killing him. Why? Because God forbid if a person gets killed, obviously his sin of killing is one of the 3 sins we give up our lives for. But over here, let's say somebody goes over to someone, kills him, so of course it's atrocious sin, and of course we don't know from these things, but at the end of the day, that guy's going straight to heaven, the person who passed away. But if a person makes another person sin, he's going to the lower lobby all because of him, so it's worse than killing. Lumat zeh, but on the other side of the coin, hamizaked havero, someone who helps his friend spiritually, oselo tova yoter, he does better for him. Imagine if this was a regular person saying this, you don't have to accept it, but it's the rabbi telling us this. It's even greater in certain ways than resurrecting the dead, because now you're giving him zechut in the next world. Now there are other people out there as well that might not judge correctly, and they go over to a guy who has no anger problem whatsoever. I think you should work on your anger a little more. right? So what do we do in that case? If you blow up and want to kill him, then that shows that you do got an anger problem. But if you don't have an anger problem, what are you supposed to do? The guy's wrong. So the rabbi says, and the person who's reprimanding him is making a mistake. He's imagining, still be appreciative to him. If you see he's doing it for the right reasons, then you have to be thankful, because at the end of the day he's trying to help you. This is the golden rule of thumb. Never ever reprimand in front of other people. Like we said, in Johannesville, USA, you have people yelling at someone in shul to be quiet. Yes, it's Hashem's house, but he's a son of Hashem. Why are you embarrassing him in front of other people? It's possible you're embarrassing him, making his face turn colors, and making him look bad in the eyes of people. The rabbi says, take that favor that you're doing for him and throw it on the burning coals, meaning it ain't no favor, right? You go over to a guy, he has a stain on his shirt, so you'll pour acid to take the stain out, but you're burning the guy. What's the point? And what is the worst lacking? What is the worst void that someone could have? Is the void of common sense, of being smart. And there is no one poorer than the guy who does not have common sense. Thank goodness we don't know what this is around here. Like our rabbis tell us, imdat chasarta makanita. If a person is lacking wisdom, if a person is lacking street smartness, then what's his point? V'zora ata adam ba'aretz, and this is a very bad thing. Masha Amar Shelemah HaMelech alav hashalom. Shelemah HaMelech tells us about this. Derech ish yashar be'enav. Number one, not anyone that we know, not anyone listening to this class, but far away you have people thinking, I am the man, I am the greatest. There's no one straighter and better than me. V'hu Amar, and Shelemah HaMelech continues, Im ra'ita ish chacham be'enav, tikva lechsir mimenu. Guess what? If you see a person out there that thinks he's the smartest man in the world, then guess what? It's an obvious thing that there's nothing more foolish than this fellow. And only bad is going to come out of a situation with someone like that. But like we said, thank goodness we know, everybody we know. We're coming to classes, we're learning the Sefarim of the rabbis, and we're always being a work in progress. And Baruch Hashem, step by step, right? We're going to accomplish and make it to the finish line. Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. I hope everyone has the greatest day. Shabbat Shalom. Besorot Tobot. Yeshuot v'nehamot.